The history of administrative record-keeping is a long and generally uneventful progression, characterized by gradual changes in materials, methods, and institutional habits, rather than dramatic turning points or memorable individuals, beginning with early human societies that found it necessary to keep simple tallies of goods such as grain, livestock, and labor obligations, often using clay tokens, notched sticks, or basic marks on stone or bone, which over time evolved into more formalized systems of writing primarily designed not for literature or storytelling but for accounting, inventory control, and taxation, as seen in ancient Mesopotamia where cuneiform tablets recorded deliveries of barley, beer rations, land measurements, and temple expenditures with repetitive phrasing and standardized formats that prioritized clarity over expression, and where scribes were trained to reproduce the same lists and formulas, with minimal variation, establishing an early precedent for bureaucratic uniformity that would persist across civilizations, including ancient Egypt, where hieroglyphic and hieratic scripts were used extensively to document agricultural yields, census data, labor assignments, and construction supplies, all of which required careful tabulation and archiving but offered little narrative interest, as these records focused almost exclusively on quantities, dates, and official approvals rather than personal experiences or social dynamics. And this administrative impulse continued through the classical civilizations of Greece and Rome, where city-states and imperial governments maintained records of citizenship, property ownership, military service, and legal proceedings, often stored in archives that were meticulously organized yet rarely consulted for anything other than verification, resulting in documents that emphasized procedural accuracy and continuity rather than innovation, with Roman bureaucracy in particular developing standardized forms, legal codes, and clerical roles that reinforced the idea that governance depended less on inspiration and more on routine documentation, a concept that survived the fall of the Western Roman Empire, and more on routine documentation, a concept that survived the fall of the Western Roman Empire and quietly persisted through the medieval period in monasteries, manorial estates, and royal chancelleries, where monks and clerks copied charters, land grants, tax rolls, and correspondence in careful handwriting on parchment, following established conventions that changed slowly over centuries, as the primary goal remained preservation and consistency rather than efficiency or readability, leading to vast collections of records that were technically important but largely monotonous in content, detailing obligations owed, rents collected, disputes resolved, and permissions granted, all framed in formulaic language that left little room for variation. And as medieval kingdoms gradually centralized power, bureaucratic systems expanded correspondingly.